One of the things that we are doing, we have the local stories and the future stories. One of the things that we wanted to start today, also this year, we identified a leader of the year. So this person is a person that I knew for a very long time as a friend. He's a person that we go back way at the time of the invasion of Kuwait. I was in the United States, and he was like a brother to me, and he took care of me. And he's a person that doesn't talk a lot. Nobody knows more about what he does except the people who are very close to him. And I'm proud to know him. I'm proud to had worked with him. And I'm proud today to acknowledge him as one of our digital leaders in 2018, Mr. Al-Shatti. Organizations. So we have also an organization that really had made a big difference in developing a channel, an important channel in the banking sector. What I think they've done is really created an important buzz where everyone started understanding what the possibility of chatbots are, what are the things that becomes a new experience for us. So I would like to call up Mr. Abdullah Atwajri from Bank Bobyan. So another acknowledgement goes to an amazing new university, a university that has the spirit of an entrepreneur, a spirit that makes a difference around the purpose of education goes beyond just education. It's the type of values, the type of important components that goes towards building up the next generation. This university, from the moment I got to understand what they do, the way they do it, caught my imagination and made me really engaged and understand how much important education can really make a big difference in developing Kuwait. This university is not at much known that much, but we would want them to be one of the default universities for people who really want to be the leaders of this future of Kuwait. And I would like to call in Dr. Khalid from Kuwait College of Science and Technology. Another organization that has been very important to us, it's important because it handles all our information. Everyone in his wallet today has a piece of this organization. How many of you don't have a civil ID? only the two analysts maybe from Gartner that don't have it. But all of us actually engage and enjoy the service of this important organization. This organization is a pioneer organization. They changes that they are doing, the way they're doing it, the chances that we're going to see their story will really inspire us all to really see how far this organization can take us. The name in Arabic, الهيئة العامة للمعلومات المدنية. This organization, البطاقة المدنية, as we all know it, is very important. So I have two leaders from this organization. I would like them to come up to stage. Mr. Mansour Al-Mu'adhin, last year he also received an award from us. So keep coming again and again. We're very happy with you. And Mr. Maher is going to be one of our speakers, so we can move on the other side. So we have also a young spirit of Kuwait, a person that I admire so much. And from the moment I got to know him, I loved how much he's very curious. His personality is a personality that you really enjoy. A person who made a big difference to the society in Kuwait, to the communities. Most of the startups in Kuwait would tell you a lot about him. A person who really recently even moved the needle further and became one of the first Kuwaiti data scientists, Mr. Mujbil Al-Qattan. I'm not sure if there's someone from Zain. Okay, we'll put it at the last after their session because we made the changes on the agenda. So the next person is a person that I actually just about 2 weeks ago, looking in my old papers, I took out a report, a business plan competition in 2016. And I had wrote something on that paper. I said, this person is going somewhere. In 2016, this person applied as one of the players in the region to a business plan competition in one of the VC conferences in Kuwait. And his story started evolving. And he became one of the leading fintechs, not in Kuwait, but I can see in the world. He's very much ahead of himself, and I'm so proud to have him as part of this year's acknowledgement. Mr. Mohammed, if you can join me from One Global, OG. And last not least is our speakers from Gartner. So I have Jim to come to the stage. And we have Mr. Lee, the master of the dishdasha today.
This is a localized experience. Localized Happy to see you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have just the last word I want to say. This might be a surprise to the person that I will call her name. It's my wife, Fatma. I want to give her a HemmaTech clap. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Can you stand up, please? So everyone knows how important I am to you and you to me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we'll be starting the first panel discussion. You'll be with me on this panel. You can sit on that last chair that is building on the side.
All the best. All the best.
Yes. Mijbil, you're with us on the session. So this is the session that we're going through the local stories. As you have seen, we acknowledge these amazing stars as organizations and individuals. These organizations have their stories to be told. We will give each one of them a 5-minute chance for us to listen to their inspiring moment. And please join us if you need any point of questions. Use the Slido as we started. And we would have a chance then to have an interaction with every one of them through your questions. So, Mr. Abdullah, if you like to start.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Well, 5 minutes is not enough for us to talk about what's happening in Bobyan, but I'm sure that we've came across many examples that we, during the earlier sessions about what we're doing in Bobyan. Basically, we came to the market where there are 10 or 9 other banks who are much older and much bigger than us, and we have chosen the technology and the customer service to be our option to penetrate into this market. Alhamdulillah, I think that strategy has worked well. We focused on the 2 things that we are discussing today, which is customer experience, customer service, and technology. If I want to talk about AI in Bobyan, we're just scratching the surface, as they say. So we started with something that Jasim talked about, which is a chatbot. But chatbots, as you've seen on most of the examples, are used for customer service and customer experience, answering questions and trying to replace the call center. What we have decided to do is to do a conversational chatbot which does banking transaction. So it's within the online bank or the mobile banking app. It's inside the app. It's not something on the website. We are going to do the website version, which is the basic one for customer experience and customer service. But we decided to go a step further in introducing chatbot to Kuwait. It was the first chatbot to be introduced in Kuwait. Others has followed later on, but it was the first chatbot in the chatbot sense to be introduced in Kuwait. Obviously, everybody is using the mobile, and I'm sure that most of you here, we've seen the experience. Mobiles became, as Jasim was saying, as your twin. It's not a device that you carry. It's your personality. So everything is done on the mobile. So the chatbot now in Bobyan, you can do everything, including doing a banking transaction. So people are familiar with WhatsApp and chatting applications like messaging and so on, Twitter, Instagram. So we replicated the same experience of chatting. So, and we called him Msa'ad. Msa'ad comes from helping, is someone who's help, assists, يساعد, فقلنا سميناه مساعد. So you log into Msa'ad, you talk to him, he can greet you back, he knows his age, you ask him about his gender, his age, where does he live, is he married or not. So he interact with you as a person, and then if you want to ask any question, he will be answering your question. And if you want to do any transaction, you don't know how to do a Western Union payment using the mobile app. So you tell him, I want to do a Western Union payment to Dr. Khalid. And then he takes you through the process and give you the code at the end, and he confirms the steps. So this is our experience. I don't want to take a lot of time with AI. A lot of use cases for banking can be used, with AI are very well known. Authorization, fraud prevention, KYC, know your customer, AML, anti-money laundering, legal process, so many applications that can be used and using AI in banking. So we're just starting that point, and then we're gonna continue with many applications in the near future. Thank you.
Okay. Can you maybe I would like also, I was very inspired about when it started. There was young employees in the bank.
Yes.
And maybe that's if you share that story, because it becomes a very also angle that it's the innovation from within the bank and the things that are important that you're doing that is unique to any other bank.
Innovation starts with the culture. This is what we all believe in. So the culture in Bobyan, we have a young customer base and we have a young employees. Even the management team, the senior management team are relatively young. If we compare the average age of the employees in Bobyan Bank is much younger than any other bank or organization in Kuwait. So it starts from within. We use the culture of encouraging innovation, encouraging people to come with ideas, and that became a culture now. Everybody, you don't need to tell them to come with new ideas. It became spontaneous. It's the culture of the bank. Everybody is coming with new ideas, and many of the ideas, many of the innovations that we have implemented into the market are ideas of our employees. We have programs, multiple programs to collect ideas from our staff, reward them for those ideas. They participate themselves into the project of implementation. If someone who is a teller in a branch and has an idea, we take him and embed him into the project of implementing his idea, and he becomes part of it, and we celebrate the success and the implementation of the idea with him as well, and he is acknowledged into that. So it's the culture of the bank is to encourage innovation and continuous improvement, as they call it.
There's a switch. We want Maher to start because we're getting a problem with your presentation.
Okay.
So until we just put it in a mistake. Maher, you can get the starting point here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, having 5 minutes it is very difficult, and I was trying to minimize it as much as possible. Now, we in PASI, we started several AI and machine learning projects to fulfill our commitment towards our customers. Since 2013, we have released Kuwait Finder application with more than 650,000 users. These 650,000 users, we have more than 120,000 active users per month, which are really demanding on our services. So one of the services that was always requested by our users is providing local traffic map for Kuwait. Now, for sure, we were not trying to reinvent the wheel. So we were exploring everywhere to find if this service is available or not. Unfortunately, and actually fortunate for us, that we found that this service from the commercial providers are not available to Kuwait in the way that we are requesting. So we have took the decision to build our own traffic map for Kuwait, and we started implementing and enhancing it. Now we are receiving data from different data sources with the high velocity. And this actually was our opening or our entrance to real-time analytics and big data. But this is not our aim. Our aim is to create a traffic map. So as we are receiving the data from our users, we are actually accumulating it in real time and then updating our big data backend data store, updating the street information, colorize it based on the traffic probability, and serve it back to our clients in near real-time period. But why we are talking about machine learning for Kuwait Finder? As we are receiving the data, this does not mean that everyone in Kuwait is using Kuwait Finder, and we are receiving data for every street segment in Kuwait. So actually, the street segments that we are receiving, we are updating this information or calculating the traffic probability for it. But street segments that we are not receiving data, it is none. So in order to serve the client, we are considering that no data, and we are coloring it as by default green, which is not correct. So from here, in order to overcome this, every time we need to modify the parameters, every time we need to modify the code, we are always explicitly doing programming, which is taking a long time from us. Sorry, I need to be quick. So why we are going to use machine learning? We have the street data, we have the missing parts from the street. Okay, let's think what we have. We have more than 500 days of historical traffic data. We have the street geometry and street locations. We have the time based on the user. So we need to think that we do not need to explicitly program this code or this algorithm, and we need to learn it. Now, the features or the attributes that we are thinking, we have the identifier for the traffic, for the street segment, timestamp, likelihood that we have already stored, average velocity, speed difference, and the well-known text, the geometry of the. So, but all this, doing a machine learning for all this data, it will be random. So what we were thinking, that it is not necessarily that if all the traffic in a certain hour that it is red, that this applies, for example, on all Kuwait, but it should be geographically weighted. So areas like Kuwait City at 2 is something different than Kuwait City at 6. So usually when we are working with data science or analyzing data, we are working with figures and numbers. So when you are looking for a confusion matrix, you find that your accuracy or model accuracy is high, so you find that it is correct. But when you are visualizing it, you will be able to validate this model and see if this model is correct or not. So we will see it. Plotting the GPS points with the traffic probability or traffic likelihood show us for Kuwait City these colors. So what is the meaning? Applying machine learning algorithm to predict traffic data or traffic status in Kuwait. Now this is a proof concept in order just was prepared for the sake of this presentation. So in any day, in any hour, we can predict interactively or do a simulation. So the video here, this color is just the streets without anything. So you will see now, I said that simulate, it start applying the machine learning algorithm and predict. The yellow is the hour, 2000 is the number of features in this extent, and how much it took, 0.4 seconds. So we are trying also to provide this as a service with the maximum efficiency. So you can see this is 6th Ring Road in the different hours, and what is the status of the traffic for the 24 hours.
So this is not actual, this is prediction based on the
Prediction
hours of the day.
based on 125 million records. يلا خلصنا. Finish. So, how this will be applied? Currently we have Kuwait Finder. People are zooming in, zooming out when they are visualizing the traffic. There is a back-end server object interceptor that receives the request based on the extent of the mobile application. When through the app, we will extract this data. We will augment the data that we receive currently, the near real-time traffic data, and all the streets that have no data, it will be passed to the prediction model and retained and merged together. So the user will have a seamless experience that he has the same traffic service. We have a lot of to-do lists, having hyperparameter cross-validation, using geographically weighted, different algorithms. So actually, I will not start naming it, but in order to get this, for example, the one which we have adjusted one of the models parameters more than 55 times, and each one time, it is 2 hours. This is our team in PASI. Everyone is participating in his way, and actually this is part of the team. Our team is much bigger even. Thank you.
You got it.
خدنا 5 دقايق ولا
4 دقايق. It doesn't matter how much. الكل منتبه والكل excited فاهم.
تفضل.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us. And as a university, we are very, very honored to be part of this. And I'm really grateful for the kind words that my friend HemmaTech has said about our university. But I try to use the opportunity because we are not known to many people. Wherever I go, I try to use part of the slot to talk about the university itself. So allow me in 1 minute of the 5 minutes to speak about our university. We are a private university in west of Kuwait. We are a first university specialized in engineering and technology, top technology. Started in 2016, and our mission is to provide high quality science and technology education with uniqueness that it is combined with business and leadership intelligence. I would say that we pride ourselves being young but private university. We are high research focused, and we have the mission that our graduates will be engineers who can lead and managers who can harness technology. These are our programs currently. We have specialized in 3 main high technology programs: electronics and communication engineering, computer science. But we are in the process of expanding in also traditional titles as such, electrical, but all of them are geared towards the soft high technology edge of whatever they are. And most importantly, will be combined with entrepreneurship as a baseline for all programs, whether they are engineering or management as a whole. We, as I said, young, but we have been very successful in growing. So we have 800 students this September. Our senior students are moving to year 3. Some of them have accumulated enough credits for next year graduation, which is very excited for us. We are recruiting high quality research active faculty from professor rank and down, over 60 in the last 2 years. So we are on this side growing very well. I said that we high research focus. A lot of people may say that claim. We believe in KPIs, proof of that. And in one first year of our operation, we have been successful in 5 research grants from KFAS, our really huge supporter, in top areas like nanotechnology, and we are waiting for the grant in cybersecurity. Also, there are 10 more in processing. Our faculty in 1 year published over 20 books and top quality journal papers. And our research spans over the areas of the today, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, video processing, solar energy, and robotics. I don't want to spend more of that. I think they told me this about me. I'm not going to speak about that. But I want to talk about our customer experience. And as a university, we are different. We are unique because our customer is our product and is part of the university. So if we look at all organizations, you see that the organization providing services for a customer who's outside the university. In our case, the student is our customer, but the student is basically what we work on to convert from a high school child to become somebody who's ready to go to the workplace and lead, whether an engineer or manager. So our customer experience has also focused on this side. So rather than trying to do the usual thing which we do, like a lot of other organizations, they have to do mobile app, online registration, the usual marketing. We engage the students to become themselves the builder of the customer experience because they are part of us. And because of that, from day one, when we had 16 students, with the 16 students, we formed a student support committee that some of members are here, even with me supporting us now. And they themselves started to galvanize the other students to build the experience. So we, as a university, focused on providing the technology, and of course we have AI research ourselves, but rather than doing that, we use the students to build the experience that they like and build the loyalty in the organization. We are too young to say that we use big data. The data that we accumulated is still not much. Our marketing team is utilizing all means of getting the student engaged, gearing their mood by putting on Instagram questionnaires for them. What did you do in the summer? If you have the chance to cook, what would you cook? And we collect. It seems as innocent questions, but actually they are questions that get the student to feel part of this as a community, not only about classroom, about buying something from university, but the university that basically surround them in all what they think. So basically, from our perspective, the customer experience enhancement is not based on technology, although we are technology university. It's about integrating the customer, the student, into the process of providing the customer service. And I think this is a kind of message that may go for other organizations in some way, where their customers may be outside customers, but the more you get the customers to participate in sometimes seamlessly important decisions, but they are not. But get the customer to have their say in what you do, they can get you a huge impact. And the customers feel they forgive you for the small mistakes if they know that, yeah, I was part of the decision in taking this mistake. Okay, thank you very much.
Allah bil khair, good afternoon everyone. My name is Al-Qattan, and rather than give you a company story like my colleagues on here have done, I'll give you a little bit more of a personal one. Shukran. Like Muhammad said, I've been involved in the entrepreneurship and specifically technology entrepreneurship scene in Kuwait for the past maybe 6 or 7, 8 years. I remember when the Kuwaiti tech ecosystem existed before the carriages of the world were even ideas. So I've been around for a while. I worked both with startups. I worked as a VC to fund startups, and I decided recently that I needed to take the next step, which is work with the data that organizations have. And when I say organizations, I mean organizations of any size, be it startups, small companies, enterprises, and even government. So I started on the path of trying to become one of the earliest data scientists in Kuwait. Very pleased to meet Mr. Maher today, who maybe beat me to the title of Kuwait's first data scientist, but we are neck and
the
neck,
same time.
yeah, maybe 1 and 2. So I ended up quitting my job, moving to San Francisco for a few months, immersing myself in data science, machine learning, AI, and learning everything there is to learn, from how to represent data, how to visualize data, how to build models, how to watch out for bias in models, how to make sure that your treatment of data is ethical, how to make sure that the models you build are ethical. And that is obviously very important. And I realized that sometimes when you're on the outside looking at a field like artificial intelligence or data science, you think it's this mysterious black box that will make magic. And after you spend some time doing it, you realize, it's not magic as much as it is a lot of work, a lot of data cleaning, a lot of data management, and a lot of trial and error. And there are some amazing things that you can do with data, but also part of what I am doing now is managing people's expectations in terms of what can and cannot be done. Because at the end of the day, AI is not magic. And like Mr. Lee said in the earlier lecture, and I'm glad you guys are all kind of still here, a lot of it ends up being excuse me, a lot of it ends up being just taking a lot of data and applying a certain process to it to come out with a prediction or an analysis, depending on what you are trying to do. So I am now, maybe one of the few data science, AI, machine learning consultants in Kuwait. I work with organizations of various sizes, and I help them to make use of their data to engage better with their clients, to build better products, and to hopefully have a more streamlined business processes.
So we'll have now a panel discussion. Mr. Lee, do you have any observation points? You're localized now. You have to have the feeling of how the locals are here now. These are all local stories.
In fact, this is a great end to a really great day. During the break, I had the opportunity to speak to one of the newspapers in Kuwait, and he asked a very important question. He asked, how can AI actually help improve the quality of life, the quality of services for Kuwait? And I'm very proud to be sitting among guests here who are actually driving that initiative for the Kuwaiti nationals as well, by injecting AI into forward-thinking customer services, smart city projects. So it's very encouraging for me to see this, and I'm very proud to be here today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Anas always is very curious. Any questions directed to anyone of this panel? I'm pulling your leg. You have to get courageous here.
All of them Gartner clients so far, because we can always help organizations in terms of improving. And I think it's a shared collaborative process. Like Mijbil has mentioned now, that data applied to a business intelligently requires insights from not just the person who requires the problem to be solved, but also the different experts that we have here that can actually contribute to solving a problem much better, much more effectively, much more efficiently.
So we have a bank that is leading its industry. We have an education organization that is also pioneering their industry. And we have a government agency that is leading the government sector. And we have an individual professional that is leading his chance. And I know all of you have a very interesting purpose. What other things can you share with the audience, learning from your desired drive? Because I think this is a vision that everyone started to execute, and the results of it became a reality of what you're doing. And it's important to maybe share some of the things that you feel that had been a challenge more than only the successes, because this is going to be a very important element for everyone to start understanding that no one can do something on his own. You helping the community will really make a difference, and this is where things will evolve in Kuwait and make things faster in its development. So any points from the panel that you want to?
If you allow me to
Go ahead.
kick off with this, I think I have been in Kuwait for 3 years. I've been in the UK before that, and I think in Kuwait people underestimate the wealth of knowledge and expertise that is existing in Kuwait. I was truly surprised through attending a couple of meetings like this about organizations as well as individuals, and organizations like PASI, like Bobian Bank, and probably during my talk I forgot to mention Bobian Bank in the way that when I spoke about our students, our trying to achieve their targets, we didn't have the funds for that, and Bobian Bank has been supporting our students. I just met Mr. Abdullah, but it has happened separately. So, but what I'm trying to achieve is that there are so many young entrepreneurs in Kuwait who have done a lot of effort to collect knowledge. And there are organizations also, they have done a lot of intelligent effort. The only thing I feel missing in Kuwait is connecting these together. I think this kind of event is one good initiative, but probably it needs a bigger effort, maybe, and this is where the government organization can be handy to bring people together, try to achieve national initiatives. In the UK, I've been part of what organization or advisory board organization called the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council, which gives money to research and new initiatives. And they used to build what's called innovation strategy for the country, and bringing all organizations that can have idea to make it, rather than supporting small projects here and there, or to allow banks or companies to innovate on their own, is to bring them together and make something more substantial. I think this one thing that can help Kuwait, and then using AI to facilitate this and then to achieve the smart city initiatives and things can happen.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think I agree, Dr. Khalid. The collaboration between different areas within Kuwait, I think we have so many pockets, but they're not together. So we in Bobian are working toward this. I hope the government also takes initiatives in that, and I'm sure there are, but we are in Bobian are doing a lot of partnerships. So we're talking to fintechs, we're talking to shared working places. We're sponsoring them because those entrepreneurs are now using those shared working places to start up their business. They're taking small offices, they're having their forums, they're having their town halls, and they're having their discussion. And actually they are coordinating between each other, those fintechs and startups, but we are trying to be the facilitator in the middle. So we're trying to get into that. Zain is here. I know that also Zain is having partnerships with fintechs and startups. So a telco, a bank, a university, a government entity, if we all work together, we can make this advance faster. I think there are a lot of individual initiatives, but if they are coordinated and linked together, we can move even faster.
Actually, I will
Go ahead, Maher.
For 2 points. First of all, actually, after doing this experience inside PASI, there is one important point that everyone who is going to try this, don't be upset, because no one have the real expertise on this domain. This is a booming domain. You need to learn a lot, study a lot, try a lot, and you will fail much more. And don't be fooled by some titles saying if you get a GPU, then you will be getting better results. You will find that GPU, after you spend 3,000 or 4,000 KD, it works for only one algorithm or two algorithms, and all the remaining are not working. So be careful about this. But most important, if you look on this open community like Kaggle, Medium, you will find a lot of code base that can be used. It is not necessary. You will find that 80% of your time you will not find anything related to you, but at least it will try, or it will provide you with the direction where to search. Number two, actually, we are, even inside PASS, we are thinking as part of our commitment to the community that to establish and to try to do a hackathon for data science and even GIS. So, but this is still under the preparation. So we are thinking to host this, inshallah, in the beginning of next year, to have a real need examples. It is not just for showing up. It is a real use cases that we are going to have our people who are going to work on it really solve it, and we will get benefit out of it. And at the end, it is for the sake of serving the community and serving the country. Thank you.
I'll put my chair here. We'll make it serious now. Maher, tell me more about what you've been doing with the young Kuwaitis. You know, this is a very important story, because that's something that can inspire the audience, inspire the people. By the way, this is live streamed, and we have a lot of people actually, and it's powered by the university. So you're not only talking to this audience, you're going to talk to a lot of people virtually with us. So explain, you know, your story. I know you've been doing something very important. So give us a peek about what you've been doing.
Thank you. Actually, from the beginning, this is not coming from me personally, first of all, but actually it was inspired by the management. When you find that management are coming and saying to you, whatever support is needed, do it. Don't look on anything, just do it. So when you have this management support at
leadership,
your back,
yes, yeah.
Okay, and this leadership, it will give you the green light to actually invest and try. And at the beginning, we all of us have graduated from universities, and all of us know what was our knowledge level when we have been graduated from the university. So if someone comes from the university and say that I came out an expert, I need to know where is he, so that I can also learn from him. So from the beginning, when we are receiving young graduates, actually we are trying to, first of all, for 3 or 4 months, we are trying to open for them different channels. Because it is not necessary, even if someone who is graduated from computer science, that he likes computer science. It is his grade. So we are opening different channels for them.
So you're discovering their skill,
their talent, their passion, so that I put the right person in the right place.
Correct.
And this is usually,
and have it been successful.
It's frustrating, because sometimes you need to push on them, shout on them, but at the end,
it's not easy.
It is not easy.
But you became very successful in doing that.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Actually, we grew from 1, now we have 21. Out of the 21 during the last 6 years, we have only 1 who was not able to cope with this stream. But alhamdulillah, 21.
In Gartner, we have a model. It's called the BI model, and you run in 2 modes. The first mode is what we know is being solid, and it's process oriented. Nothing really changes. It's like, it's what the samurai in the military of Japan does. They're very more into a military structure. But also in the Japanese military, there's something called the ninja. The ninja is a one-man army, a one-man that is so agile, fluid. So what you've been doing is creating these ninjas in your team and developing that type of spirit that these guys can be fluid, not solid, and they really evolve around the same things that you are trying to let them discover. And the discovery, you give them a chance to make mistakes, and they learn from their mistakes, and they go on.
And there is no static place. Everyone, first of all,
They discover, they keep on.
Challenge is not coming because everyone is competing with each other on the same place. Challenge and competition is coming from everyone in his place, trying to be better than the other.
Of course. And this is a government organization, ladies and gentlemen. So pioneering this type of mindset is an amazing. And this is one of the reasons you're managing to move forward very fast and do things differently. Mr. Abdullah, I enjoyed seeing the co-working space you had. It's a floor that, I was very surprised. A bank usually is very, different in the work environment, in the workplace. But I went there, it was too much energy between all the people. Can you share the story around that?
Again, it's part of our innovation journey. We're trying to think differently. We're not trying to think as a bank. We're trying to think as a fintech, as a technology company, which offers banking services. Usually the banks are banks who are offering banking services and they use technology to enable it. But we're trying to do the other way around. We're trying to be a technology company, thinking of or having the mindset of a technology, a fintech, a startup. So you came to that floor and I think you saw people in jeans and people who are in dishdasha like Adrian here without wearing the qitra. So we have many people who are there enjoying their time. They even have games in that center because people stay there until 6, 7, 8 at night and they don't feel it because of the excitement and the energy. They don't feel it and all of a sudden it's like 6 at 7 at night and they're enjoying doing a lot of things. So, and we invite people from other departments in the bank to come and use that lab or that center to discuss their ideas, bring other departments together in one place and discuss it. Typically the banks, you send me an email and then the other guy sends an email and then you have different areas within the bank and everyone is interacting on email. And then a small thing that should maybe take 5 minutes to get agreement on takes a week of email exchanges, right? So we bring everybody together.
Nice.
We use the agile methodology. So we bring everybody together, the compliance, the legal, the business, the technology. We bring them all together, sit, brainstorm, and don't come out of that room without taking a decision. So that's the culture that we're trying to build.
Amazing. Mr. Lee, any insights?
Absolutely. I think this is one of the best practices that we see now from the Mode 2 organizations that we're looking at. Not only are they taking care of business with the stable Mode 1, keep business going style of operations. The Mode 2 organizations that exemplify this are the ones that are flexible, fast, agile, and like you said, willing to make a little bit of mistakes along the way. Because you don't get this perfect from day one. And the fact that you're actually fostering this environment and culture where your employees and your different teams can actually get together, I think that's an amazing example of what we spoke about earlier today. Having that cross-enterprise, cross-functional teams to actually deliver the best customer experience.
Mijbil, anything that you learned that should be considered, that you have this ambition, a purpose in Kuwait to see it happen?
Yeah, obviously I echo most of my colleagues here in that if you want to work in this field, there is a lot of experimentation, there's a lot of iteration, and it's okay if you don't find the results you're looking for. I remember one of my first projects, I did this simple regression exercise. And I was, very certain that, variable X is causing Y. And you run the data, you look at the data, you run the models, and it turns out that that's not the case. So it's okay that if you have a hypothesis and you run a model and it turns out to be wrong, it's completely fine. It's part of the cycle of how to become a better data scientist. And I think the second part, which I want to highlight, is the importance of having a good, clean, up-to-date, sufficient data. And I think maybe one of the main challenges of data scientists is to have this data. As anybody who's done any work in this knows, having good data is magnitudes more important than fine-tuning a model. Having good data is what's going to get you the real insight at the end of the day. So I think one of the challenges we will have here in Kuwait is access to this data. There is no open data projects, as far as I know, that span multiple organizations. Maybe now your organization has just released their API, so now actually, you're kind of aware, so you put the tools there for people to be able to access data as needed. So I think if we are to develop the scene in Kuwait, if we are to become, an AI-friendly community, then having access to having public databases that are up to date and useful for data scientists is one of the first things we need to do.
Good. Mr. Lee, if we want to multiply and amplify the points of successes each of these individuals in the panel, and think about what can we do to grow the use of AI in Kuwait, and how can it help in regards to, making, these gentlemen are willing to help. They're participating with us today. We're creating a community, but we really need Kuwait to progress faster. What would you suggest, you think, to do? And how can the organizations on this table and others, participate?
Yeah. I think in general, it always starts from the ability and the desire to want to solve a problem. So I think what's common across all our guests here today is that each of them have a very deep passion and a deep desire to solve a particular user problem here as well. From solving traffic jams to creating new fintechs, I think we need to first identify where the pain points are, and then apply the right technologies to it. In fact, if for nothing else, today's two presentations has been about these are the steps, these are the structures, and these are the techniques. And we need to have enough people, enough momentum pushing the correct tools, techniques, and strategies in order to help accelerate this process as well. So, big kudos to the university. Building up that foundation of knowledge is important. Having the co-working spaces to foster the environment is important. Having the great data from public government agencies is important. And then having the desire to be a citizen data scientist at the end of the day. You as an individual can make that change. You as an individual working on this open data set can actually discover correlations or statistics or patterns that others previously haven't seen before. So I think that's very important. You guys are definitely on the right path, and I foresee great things. I want to come back in 1 year and see what happens.
Next year we'll teach you how to wear the qitra. So, we want to give everyone a chance for his last words, some advice, some thoughts, some, point of view, or even a question to the other panels. So, want to start, Mr. Abdullah?
No, I think we covered everything, and the day has been brilliant. Having the presentations and discussions and the networking between each other is very important. We're happy to answer any questions from the audience if there is any.
Dr. Khan.
Well, I can echo what my colleague Abdullah said, that it has been a fantastic day. Thank you very much for organizing. Thank you for the speakers from Gartner, amazing presentations. And I am a conference organizer as well, and I usually thank those who stay to the end. They are the best, because usually people come to the morning session and leave, but those who stay to the end are the
We'll give them a HemmaTech clap, okay? Yalla, you now deserve the HemmaTech clap. Yalla, 1, 2, 3. Amazing. You're becoming stronger.
Sarahatan, thank you very much for this opportunity. And actually, it is good also for us as a government agency to showcase that we are ready to participate with everyone. And we are ready to open our doors to host others. And thank you very much.
Welcome.
It's been great seeing the interest in this, and obviously, if I'm going to leave with a parting word, it's that this kind of experience, it's a journey. It's not just one project that you try, you do, and then you shelf. It's a continuous journey. You have to keep going back, refining, looking, trying, and it's a long-term process that at the end will be very, very beneficial if done correctly.
Sure.
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank the audiences again for staying. That's a great point, great observation. And also to the organizers of this event. I think what's been very helpful for me was actually listening to your local stories and actually expanding my own knowledge as well. So it's amazing to see that the level of use of artificial intelligence technologies is actually so much in Kuwait already. So it'll be amazing to see what the payouts and benefits of that are for the customers and the users. So thank you again. Thank you very much for the hosting me.
Thank you very much. And I think it was a very interesting discussion. I'm very proud to know each one of these people on the panel, and proud to have organizations like this in Kuwait. And this is the whole purpose of us bringing in the hope. And the challenge that we have is not as big as we are. We're bigger than the challenges in Kuwait, and we can do it if we work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.